What's up? What up, squad? How we feeling? Yo, 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 yo. Good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing? Blessed. I love it. Oh man, squad's deep today. Let's go. We got Colorado in the house. I see Seattle's plugged in. New York City. What up? San Diego. Hello. Dallas, New York, Kansas City. Lone Ranger for sure. Miami's in the house. AZ. El Salvador en la casa. What? Cali, Colombia. The Bay. Trucker Life. Hey, you got to get it. Australia. Lauren. I don't even know what time it is out there. Colombia. Argentina. It's going to be in English. Perdón, chicos, se va a ser en inglés, entonces espero que entiendan. But guys, it's a pleasure to be here with everybody. I do have quite a bit of charts to go over for you. And we're going to do something a little different today. So we're going to go back and forth. So what I'm going to do is this. Basically, I'm going to go over a chart, and then I'm going to pick one from the chat, and then I'm going to go over a chart, and then I'm going to pick one from the chat. We're just going to roll through them. All right. Now, for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with me, and maybe somebody was just like, hey, hop on this Zoom call. Just this some guys doing magic on these charts. My name is Mike Navarrete. I've been trading since 2015. I came into this like everybody else. I knew nothing at all. Didn't come from money, working a ton. Had just dropped out of college, my senior year of college. Was in the Air Force. And trading just made sense. It just made so much sense. Like having power to just produce income based on your own skills, do it wherever, whenever, the spiel. It just made sense. Fast forward now, almost 9 years in the game. I've had the luxury of teaching people like this since December of 2017. So I've done around 16,000 hours of chart time now. So it's been intense. It's been intense to say the least. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in right now. I think I haven't worked since summer of 2017. Yeah, super happy. Super happy with this. And my goal today is really for you guys. I want to be able to give you guys some of my insights, not just on the market's work and the charts and what to expect, but just with the overall process, the journey as a trader. So any questions you guys have, feel free to share them here. I'm not no one can be a perfect trader, but I would consider myself a pretty disciplined one. And I've made a lot of mistakes. So ideally I can walk you through this so that you don't make the mistakes that I've made, and I can save you time, energy, and money doing this. So if you guys are right, if you're down, if you're ready to see what the market has in store for us, then go crazy in the chat. I love seeing the cameras on. This is always a vibe for me. All right. I see Ricky. We've got the charge pulled up. I see my brother Bruce. I'll see you in Colorado in a couple of days, man. Got Cruiser here. Melanie's got the lights. She got the whole light show going on over there. She got some vibes. His vibey with the headphones. My boy Patrick, probably in his Tesla. No, he's chilling. He's at home. But yeah, what's up, guys? Good to see everyone here. The boy Kevin Hernandez. What's up? What up, G? Hey, I love it. So hey, I always appreciate the cameras, but I'm gonna start sharing my screen so you guys can see what we have in store for this week. I'm gonna give a little extra love to the Australian pairs since we do have news in about an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick things off there. You guys cool with that? I can't guarantee that there's gonna be any setups. I looked at the market about, I don't know, like 12 hours ago, 10 hours ago, and there wasn't really much going on with Australian pairs, but things can change. So let's see what happens. However, for those of you that did trade US 30 with me, I survived this by like a point, I think. On my broker, we actually were slightly lower. So I barely hung on to this. I'm at chilling at break even. So if you guys are on the stream this morning, then you should be up around 40 points, give or take. I don't know if you guys, anybody else survive this? I'm in this. Kevin, you got GU. All right, I can peep that a little bit later. But let's dive into the Australian pairs, right? So we'll kick things off here with a quick rundown of things that might make sense. But to also give you guys the right expectations for today's session, I want to go over Australian pairs since we have news happening soon. I also want to go over metals because some of you, if you are looking at the markets, you just saw the metals go absolutely bonkers yesterday. If you're staying consistent with my sessions, then some of you maybe even caught a silver sell. So some of you I know took that silver sell with me. So shout out to you guys. But we'll talk about metals a little bit. I'll go over some crypto stuff too. Who here is in the crypto game? Who would want to see a little bit of Bitcoin charts, maybe ETH, maybe just the overall crypto market? So I'll dive in there a little bit, and then I'll see if I can set us up for anything going on this week. What I will say is, guys, dollar news is heavy this week. So we have dollar news Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, plus NFP on Friday. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good week. New York session traders, believe me, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. But what's most important, what's most important is that you stay disciplined during this because look, whether you win or lose early on, there will be many opportunities for New York session traders. Asian session traders, like this session right now, you do have back-to-back days where I think something could happen. So today and tomorrow. And then if you're trading London session, looks like Wednesday and Friday are going to be kind of the better days for you. So my recommendation always is take a look at this on Sundays, Mondays, look at Forex Factory, take a look at the red folders. This is kind of what influences volatility. And this helps you so that you're not a slave to the market. Right? You're not a slave to the charts and you're just like one eye open. Trust me, I've been there. I used to literally take turns sleeping with like my trading partner because like we just felt like we had to always be looking. But with that being said, we also just didn't know anything about risk management. And we were super paranoid that we were going to blow our accounts at literally any moment. So I know a lot of you are not there and you know better. But anyways, let's kick things off. We have Australia news in about an hour 15. So maybe I can set you guys up for success here with something. Right. So let's kick things off with odd CAD. The reaction on this setup, I think already happened during New York session. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Saw what we call a mitigation. So we closed out this institutional sell-off and got a mini reversal. Nothing significant. Wouldn't get in this or anything. So odd CAD is kind of a bust. And then you have odd CHF. We talked about this last week. Ended up being a really good sell-off last week if you were able to manage that. Personally, I deleted my pending order after it reversed a bit, and then it ended up like just totally melting away. But I didn't end up getting anything out of this. Is this going to be on the web? Yes, I will be uploading this to my YouTube. So if you are in the Europe and it's super late for you, feel free to watch this later. I will not take this personal. Get some rest. So with that being said, odd CHF, let me ask you guys something. Do you see a setup here? If you're already advanced and maybe you already have learned the way that I approach the market, or you have your own strategy, do you see a setup here at all? You tell me, okay? You tell me. So I look at this, and we can zoom out a little bit. And when I zoom out, yes, I do see a setup all the way up here. I see an area where I do believe that we have some resistance up here from November 28th. The market spikes up and then just comes crashing down. So I think a bit higher, yeah, and I think price would have to work its way up to here. It's about 70 pips away, give or take. However, this is a Swiss franc pair, and CHF pairs are pretty slow. So it might take a while, right? It might take a while to get back up here. That's why I have an alert. So I have an alert up in the zone for AUD, CHF. I don't believe that the news event that we have in an hour, I don't think this would drive price all the way up there. I don't. So this isn't one for this setup, but it is for the future. So I will share this with you all. AUD, CHF. This is what we call, this is a sell opportunity. Money comes in, takes out the equal highs, that resistance, then price comes down. So why do we look for entries here? Well, there's what we call smart money, right? That is introduced to the market at this point. So that drives price higher. So it's intentional. And then price comes away from there, though that money is still sitting there. So what happens is once price comes back to here, they can exchange the money that they use to push price up, and then make an order. They can open sell positions, which would drive it down. So for now, don't have time-sensitive entries. But if you want to set up an alert for yourself right over here, then be my guest. So head and shoulders forming. I don't trade with head and shoulders patterns. You could kind of look at it like that. So like that concept could kind of make sense for this. But it's not, I guess, my approach. So I couldn't tell you that's why I'm getting in, but it's not that you're wrong. You know what I mean? It's just not how I trade. But in terms of like, is there anything nearby right now? No, there's no buy opportunities right now. The market's been ranging for some time, sideways movement. So nothing really is kind of screaming my name. There is this big, huge push up to here. And this happened during London session. So there's definitely a lot of money that is here, right? You can see the market goes crazy up into this. But the problem with this is that when price comes up, what does it do? It shoots up straight into where we've seen resistance before. So even though you might be thinking, well, is this an institutional buy? Could this count? I think if it didn't leave equal highs, I would say, yeah, we could be looking to sell in this zone. The problem is price goes right perfectly into where we've seen resistance before. And now this is giving us equal highs. So what do we know? Guys, what do you know about a stop loss when you see equal highs? What do you think? Where do you think people place their stop losses when everyone's selling in the same prices? What happens to stop losses? They're what? They're put in a very predictable place. It's pretty simple to see that most people have their stops right above these highs. So there would be no shock if price were to come back and drive above these highs right here. So for that reason, I feel like Shark Tank. And for that reason, I'm out. So exactly, they can get wicked out. Exactly. So on CHF, we're chilling for now. Chilling. We live on. Now, one thing I do want to say, because this was my bias earlier, and this happens a lot early in the week. Sometimes, especially if you see multiple news events. So take notes if you're taking notes. Take note of this. When you look at this, right, and I'll zoom in a little bit more. When you look at what we have here for news, you'll realize, okay, you have Australian news today and tomorrow. Okay. So if there's like not much happening where you can see a clear-cut entry, what usually happens is that the first batch of news events, if there's just no setups, this news event will probably set the market up for tomorrow's news event. So you might see, AUD, you might see Aussie moving away where it liquidates, buyers or sellers and then breaks structure. So the news that we see in an hour, it might not give you an entry. Like it might not trigger an entry or put us in the market, but it can set the market up. So you don't have to be in a rush. right? You never have to be in a rush. No big deal. Wait for tomorrow. So, all right. So that's AUDCHF. Nothing really going on there. RJPY. What's going on over here? Do we see any, blatantly obvious setups here? What do you guys think? Because I'm measuring, some of you have been with me for a while. So I know some of you're looking at the market and you might be thinking, man, there's news going on, but I feel like I got nothing. It's perfectly normal. I want you to think about this when you think about trading. Let me know, okay, who here has been to a casino? All right, who's ever been to a casino? What's the problem with casino? You walk into a casino and you're walking in on your time. So if you go and let's say you hop onto a poker table, okay? The house wins. The odds are against you. Casinos bank on you being greedy. All of those things are accurate. The one thing is this. When you go into a casino and you just walk onto a poker table, there are odds on hands being better or worse in your favor, especially with blackjack. So it's not always the best conditions. Trading can be even more dangerous because you can access these markets whenever you want. But just because you want money right now, does that mean the market's going to give you the conditions so that you can make money right now? What are the chances that when you want to make money, the market's also giving you the perfect opportunity to do so? How likely is that? I don't think it's that likely. Now, there's times where we're pretty likely to see it set up. For example, New York Open, right? 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. In that hour, like, it's go time. It's pretty likely that something happens. Now, I personally didn't really get a setup this morning, so I didn't trade. You have to be ready for that. You have to be ready to not do anything. That discipline is powerful. So, RJPY, what's going on here? Okay, well, if we look at the 1 hour time frame, okay, we have equal highs here. So what does that tell us? Well, there's money up here. Retail sellers are in the game right there. Sweet. That's really it. There's nothing here that would, because why do I get in the market? I get in the market when I see that there's big money waiting to get into the market too. It's always an exchange of money. That's the only reason that the market goes up and down, is because money is being exchanged. It's swapping hands. That's it. So I don't see that here. Not at all. All right. Well, what about odd and ZD? Come on, Mike. Give me a setup, right? Like, come on. What am I doing here? Guess what? Odd and ZD, equal highs, resistance. So what does this mean for us? Nothing. I wouldn't get in here. Could be a target, though, to get out of the market. Okay, so is there a buy setup somewhere? Well, okay, well, what about this? Odd NZD spikes down here for New York, end of New York session, start of Asian session, and this goes below these lows. All right, it looks kind of good. This could be a setup. The market goes up here. Is that a higher high? Well, yes and no. Price does go above this previous high, but it doesn't hold it. It just goes up and right back down. So for me, this isn't sustainable. This isn't telling me, oh yeah, this is a higher high. This is just showing me, no. We needed to get above here because take a look at this. Look at all these people who are selling at these equal highs. So when price goes up here, guess what? These sellers probably got stopped out and then the market came down. So structure, right? If you guys have learned structure, you see that, okay, well, the market's bearish when it's doing something like this. lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And then they tell you, well, when price gets above the previous high, this is a higher high. That's what you learn. But what they don't teach you is how to know when something like this isn't the case. So sometimes you see something like this, but what happens is price gets above the high very quickly, but quickly comes right back down. So something like this, it wasn't meant to give you a bullish structure now. It was meant to take out sellers so that now the market can keep going down. So you need to be able to understand structure beyond just, oh, it's above the previous one. No, why? Why is it above this high to just take out sellers, or did it go above this high and give me and stay up here, and now I have a real higher high, where the market then can do something like this, where it actually stays up here, and then you can expect it to keep going higher. So it's all really based on where price finds stability, not just where price visits, but where does it find stability. So that's your mini lesson on structure. This guy's cooking. What's up, Kev? Miguel, what's good, G? You know what's funny? I said, oh, I'm going to do one chart, and then I'm going to give you guys a chart. I totally just went on like 3 in a row. So, Miguel, I got you, bro. What you got? Odd JPY all the way down here. I mean, that's far, bro. I don't know if that's gonna happen today. Yeah, I don't think that's happening today, man. Check AU. Tell me what to do, Miguel. I'll get there. I'm working on it, man. All right, odd USD. So here, let's zoom out a little bit. I sent it. Oh, okay, I see. All right, so you weren't on. I don't think you were on this morning, but I did see something similar to what you're looking at right now. Okay, and so I'm gonna look at this, and I have a discrepancy. So there's a reason that I'm not in love with this setup. I know that's not what you want to hear right now. So let me tell you, okay? Okay. So here the market sweeps the lows. Amazing. Leaves it in balance. Cool. Comes back and leaves some equal lows here. Perfect. Okay. So I see this. I see it. Looks great. So we have news in an hour. Spikes down to here. This could be go time. Now, there's only one reason why this setup I'm not in love with completely. I think I'd still be down to take it, maybe with less risk. But the reason is NZD USD. And let me explain. And actually, to explain better, what I'll do is I'm going to split my screen here. Yeah. Okay. So here's NZD USD. For those of you that don't know, NZD USD is a correlating pair with AUD USD. And you can tell, right? You have, okay, hold on. Things have changed a little bit here. Okay, maybe we do take this one today. So what's the problem? One problem. NZD USD mitigated the zone at 4 p.m. November 30th on Thursday. AUD USD did not. So could this already have been mitigated? Maybe, maybe not. But what I am seeing right now is NZD USD is around that 71% pullback. and AU they're basically at the same level. So why do we get into the market? It's because we think there's going to be an exchange from sellers to buyers. It looked like with NZD-USD, we already got that swap. When price came to here, it came perfectly to where the market had pushed the market down. And look how aggressively the market came up here. Just went flying all the way up to here. However, actually now pointing that out, AUD-USD didn't really make as aggressive of a movement. So as I'm walking through this with you all, I'm just thinking, what is the motive that this works or doesn't work? We're an hour away from AUD news, so it's setting up pretty nicely. The timing is really good. Yeah, I think this could work out. What happened here with NZD-USD, I mean, it rejected the zone, but maybe there was NZD news, but it didn't happen here. And even the way price action played out, it is different. So I'm willing to take to risk some money for a setup like this. It looks good, and also the timing of everything is playing out really nice. So yeah, I'm down. And remember, when you Mago Ramsey, you're funny. When you look at this and you look at how the market unfolds, everything is based off of money, probabilities. So there's certain setups in which you risk a certain amount. And you can have other setups that look good. So like, for example, I kind of have a rating system. There's A+ setups, there's B setups, there's C setups, there's F setups, right? Like, so some are just bad setups. So this falls under that category where it wouldn't be an A+ setup for me. Why? Because there's been some sort of hesitancy introduced to this. Like, because NZD-USD kind of like mitigated already and it already swapped from sellers to buyers or from buyers to sellers. Now all of a sudden I have to think twice about this one. So I have to think if it's kind of like influencing my decision making, then immediately it already reduces the probabilities of winning for me. So all right, I could still take this, but I wouldn't risk my normal risk percentage. I'll put a little less on this. I'm still willing to find out. Right? I'm still willing to lose X amount to win X amount. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Is what am I willing to lose? What am I willing to put on the line to find out if this follows my plan or not? So it's really important to consider. Because not everything has to be so black or white. You have room for just kind of your own discretion. So, okay, like, am I willing to risk $10 to make 20? Am I willing to risk 1,000 to make 2,000 with the setup? So you have to compare that to the other trades that you take. If there are other trades that you feel like, oh no, I have a way better chance at these other trades, then this shouldn't have the same weight as other trades. If anything, you know what I mean? So you have to know that based on your understanding and how you look at it, putting a 5 lot instead of a 10. There you go. Be my guest. This is, power's in your hands, man. I'm just here so I don't get fined. So, all right. I like a setup like this. AU is good. 3-1. This still, we're trading inside of a range. It's not even too deep. I think we can see price get to up here at some point, maybe even fill more of a balance. 3-1, great risk reward ratio. We're still trading inside of a range. I'm down. I'm down for the cause. AUD USD. Here we go. We have a little bit of excitement today. Oddcat. Yeah, this already mitigated, bro, for sure. I talked about this. You were late, so you might have missed this one. If you would have been on time, you wouldn't have just wasted all of our time, bro, right now. I'm not using Trade Locker. I'm not just roasting a stranger. Miguel and I we're cool. So, okay. Euro odd imbalance. Yeah, it's feeling this imbalance. I wouldn't do nothing else with this. It left us over here behind. Here we are several years later, and we still haven't gotten this sell from up here, but it is what it is. And then we have GBP odd just sending it. Wow. This is impressive. So GA really, it melted off on Friday just for Sunday to just fully recover everything. And right now this is screaming bullish. So with GA right now, we can see that it was a very intentional move to the downside, right? When price comes falling off a cliff like this, you can see like this was building up buyers and buyers and buyers. There was definitely a lot of money being lured into the market. And then suddenly you see just boom, tanks. Market here just really just drops just like that. And if we zoom out, the more we zoom out, you can see this wasn't just a little bit of support here. Now you had it over here too. Take a look. Just like that. Price clears out where we saw support in November. Friday. It even takes out these lows from early November, and then off it goes. It's a lot of steam on this one. So you can tell this is very intentional. This wasn't an accident. Price gets pushed down. And then what we have here is something interesting because this misses the open by a pip? Question now is, was this mitigation? Did this close out the sell and then fly? Or what do we think? Or is this still a valid buy? What do you guys think? What's the consensus here? Got pretty close. Did something like this happen somewhere else? GBP odd. So did maybe pound has a setup like this? This happened when during New York session? Dangerously close to me. With all that imbalance below, I'd say it's still valid. I think so too. I think it's close. But like you said, all this imbalance here, I think this is worth a dabble. You can check other pairs like GU or GBP and GD, and we can see if pound was what was doing something here. Yeah, I think we could see something down here at some point. Now, here's the thing though. I would love to see buys here, but what would really seal the deal for me would be if this happens after we get a higher high. But yeah, I mean, now looking at the odd pairs, the AUD pairs, the only setup that really looks like it's something that could be worth taking is the AUD USD setup that we have going on right now. And right now, as you can see, this is accumulating retail buyers, more retail buyers. Right now, retail traders all over the world are buying AUD. All over right now. It's support. Textbook. This was what they've been taught. So there's money being introduced to this right now. I guarantee you, if you were to go on forums, this is what they're taking. If I were to throw some random indicators on this thing right now, it would probably be telling me to buy right now. I don't even know how to use indicators anymore. It's been that long, which is actually really funny. I like actually don't remember anymore. But if you were to put one on here, I bet you something like that would line up. So all right. So AUD USD. I think I shared this. I think I already shared this chart, right? Is the main reason you like trading because of the freedom it gives you? You know why I think I like trading the most? I think it's because, yeah, obviously I like freedom. Freedom's cool. But the way in which you get the freedom. So it's not just the freedom. It's the way in which it's received. Like, I love how cutthroat trading is. And I think it's the same reason why people hate trading. But I think I've gained to love this. It's the same thing with it, like it was with skateboarding, but like trading is 100% on you. Like, you can't blame this on anybody else. And if you do, then you don't get it yet. And that's okay. Maybe you will eventually, but like that's the coolest thing to me. It's just like you get who you are most of the time when you're interacting with the markets. Like, that's it. There's nothing else, there's nothing more. Now, when it happens, sometimes it's different. Like you could be doing things really well and it's just not your time yet. You might have to just still accumulate more capital and do things just for longer periods of time, and that's totally fine. But I think that's why I love trading so much. It's just it's a good way where what you get is just based on you. And if you're not fulfilling, your own words, your own intentions, then yeah, you're not going to get the money that you want. If you're not, disciplined, if you're not, it's like you kind of can't escape it. Like the market's almost like an all-seeing eye. And based on your behaviors, you either get punished or you just pay a normal, like, okay, here's a little tax for just, making the right decision. But hey, we're not going to give it to you today. But if you do the same thing, then the next time we probably will. So I don't know. I like this. I feel like it's fair. And it's all based on just what you put into it and who you are most of the time. So for me, it's like, yeah, it's just fair. I think there's worse ways to make money for sure. Okay. So metals. Now we had a unique experience so far, right? Look at this. This is wild. You guys see this? Man. I remember 2018. Man, I had to go back and find these pictures and or videos. But I remember it was like the second event I ever spoke at for the company. And it was quarter four. I think it was September. It was like right here. And I remember Zachary and Jordan, they were doing a training on metals too. And we were like, yeah, it's a pretty good time to buy metals. And yeah, not bad. 5 years later, 80%. That's decent. Real decent. But That's probably before a lot of your time. So, yo, dude, I'm old in this thing now. What the hell? That's crazy. So check this out. All right. Look at this. 3 years, almost 4. Like 3.5 years of liquidity building up. Imagine that. Just retail selling, retail sellers, retail sellers again, again, again. Because remember, people have this idea that the more that it rejects a zone, the stronger that zone is. Has anyone ever heard of that before? Abuelo Magi, bro, for real. Bro, the swap on holding a trade for 5 years. I mean, you can buy a physical. You know, you're not going to hold the swap for having physical gold or silver. But also, swap doesn't always cost you. Sometimes swap pays you. So chances are you'd probably be fine. But a lot of retail sells. And if you've seen this happen for years, just imagine how much money is in there. And so one thing you'll notice is that when we experience prices that have never happened before, there is pretty big breakouts. And this is with whether it's any asset. You know, here, for example, gold, the previous all-time high was 1919. I remember when we broke through this, it was so crazy. Broke through this and this skyrocketed, right? This went up another, what was it, like another 1,500 pips. Massive. 1,500 pips. So this time around, all right, we had built up quite a bit of liquidity here for a couple of years, not as much. It took about 9 years to go from the previous high to this one. This one only took about 3.5. But this time it broke through these highs. Price went up 750 pips. It's pretty fat. Huge push beyond these previous highs. And this bodied everybody that was selling. But if you were in buys, obviously you were you started the week off pretty happy. But why am I telling you this right now? This is one of the best things that I think gives you an advantage in the market. And it's your ability to use correlated pairs to your advantage. So look at what happened here. Gold experienced price discovery, all-time highs, sick. Meanwhile, silver didn't. Silver was right in a point of interest. Here we had seen huge pushes to the upside here in May of 2023. And then the market just came crashing down. So there was an open buy position over here. So what are the chances that gold opens this week, flies bullish, reaches all-time highs, and that perfectly positions silver into a selling point of interest? So gold has done everything it needed to do, and then now it perfectly lines up silver into zones where we should be exchanging institutional buys for sells. That's like the extra confirmation that this is probably ready to come crashing down. Because if gold had already taken care of all of that retail money, and silver is now at a place where money can literally be poured into the market for the sell, there you have it. So that's why silver gave us such a good sell idea here. And what's amazing, and I actually just realized this, we pinned the top or the bottom, and we'll, as of right now, the top of this live. Damn, that's actually sick. We caught these buys, y'all. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you guys saw, like, I held this thing for like 30 days. Not as impressive if I would have held it up to here. But we literally sniped the very, very, very bottom. And then we also took the very, very top. Right now, it looks like we might be in distribution here. It'll depend on how things unfold. But like how, like you just have to realize, like, this not like this is just random. It's not just guessing. And it's not because I'm good at this. It's just because the clues are here. The answers are in front of you. We all have the answers to the test. The answers are already there. It's just learning how to see them. That's the coolest thing to me. It's already there. It's just, can you spot them? So, exactly. You can see them now. Some of you are starting to get this. Now, for those of you that didn't know, right, I'm doing a Smart Money Simplified bootcamp from the 11th to the 15th. And what follows that one will be an advanced indices one as well, just to let you guys know. But here's what I'll tell you guys. For those of you that are newer and you're probably like, dude, this looks crazy. Like, how can I figure this out? You know, can I ever do it or make it? I'm going to tell you one thing. There was a moment where I knew nothing. And now I know more than nothing. So, like, as long as you can just allow yourself to be kind of bad at something. And you know what's really cool about trading? You can be bad at this more than half of the time and still make money. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's exclusively for those in IM. But Zoom user, just shoot me a message on private on a DM or however you got access to this call, and I'll chop it up with you. But I want you to realize something. If you can, guys, if you can allow yourself to be kind of shitty at this, then you can eventually make money. Isn't that like you just have to allow your ego, your pride to be willing to suck. Problem is where we don't. But the numbers literally show you can be right 35% of the time. But if when you're right, it's 3 times more than when you're wrong, you're profitable. Warren Buffett's profitability win rate is like 35%. And, you know, Uncle Warren is worth a cool 100 billion plus. Not bad for being right 35% of the time. I think it's a great deal. But when you are wrong, you have to be willing to lose in a way that's sustainable. This is one of the hardest things, is just being willing to lose in a sustainable fashion. People think that winning is the key to making money. Wrong. Learning how to lose like a professional is the key to longevity in this game. All it takes is one right to replace multiple wrongs. And all it takes is one wrong, one very bad wrong, to wipe out every time you've ever been right. And that's why this is a high reward scenario. It's all about the discipline. So, okay, obviously I'm rambling here. With metals here, I do think that we're setting ourselves up for more selling opportunities, and it might come in 2 different places. So we have the first zone that is promising, and you can see it right here. And I'm showing it on the 15-minute. But the first one that we could look at, and we want to take notice of how this looks on with gold as well, is going to be here. And you can already see that. Why does this setup happen? We can tell that you have, consolidation forming here, resistance is forming here. So there was money that was building up right there. And then you see price go up. And this happens, price shoots up here, give or take, pretty good amount. There was support, so people are starting to buy. They have a big engulfing candlestick pattern that attracts a lot of buyers, and then they just rip it all the way down. So here's a place where we definitely have a institutional buy, right? There was intentional buys open here to drive price higher for them to take it down. So here's an area where we could sell. First zone. Second zone that interests us as well. And let me go ahead and, we already had all that happen. So then the second zone that we like for entries and ideas and opportunities is right here. Here's where we have obviously a massive move to the upside. And there's definitely money that drives price up. That takes care of a lot of retail sellers. And then we see the market work its way down. So we have this initial reversal that can happen, and this could just come crumbling down and the market can just keep going. That's a possibility. Or what might happen is something like this, where you see it reverse and maybe we get something nice. Maybe we pull back a bit, maybe more, I'm not sure. And then you may end up seeing something like this instead. And then you start to see the push. So it's all going to depend. I think I'm willing to approach and take an entry in this first zone that's closer. And then depending on how it reverses, then either, consider still keeping this one as an idea, or maybe the market just keeps flowing. So how we manage the trade is going to be really valuable. Love when you ramble, bro. There's always a gem about something. I appreciate you appreciating my rambling. So, okay, you said AU is getting pretty close. Let's take a look. So we do have Australian news here in about 30 minutes. It's working its way there. So my recommendation for everyone, we shared this at one point already. If you hopped on later, then I'll share this again. But I always use alerts. Always, always, always use alerts for the market. Let me go ahead and drop this again in here for you all. Odd USD. But yeah, I have an alert here at 0.6588. So that if price gets to this area, then we'll know. So, but in terms of silver, which is what we were looking at, these are the two zones where I'm focused on for sells. So right here. Now, the 4 hour is still bullish, but the 1 hour is bearish. Seeing the way that this is moving, I think we could still work our way down even further, but let's see if we pull back up first. But I'm going to go ahead and share this with you so that you can decide what you want to do with silver. But remember, we always want to use gold to know what silver is doing as well. Don't just look at, silver by itself. Take a look at gold and see, okay, is gold in this area where silver is approaching to? So as long as silver gets to these zones, after gold gets there, then that gives you confirmation that, okay, gold is still definitely more bearish than, or silver is more bearish than gold. But here you guys have it as well. You have silver. Okay, so we went over a bit of Australian pairs, a bit of metals, a little trading psychology, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Indices. I'm not really going to go into indices. What time is it? Oh, we've been here for an hour. Yo, we've been here for an hour. Y'all still here? What are y'all still doing here? It's been an hour. Don't you guys have other things to do right now? All right. Well, since you're still here, I guess I'll give you a couple other things I'm looking at. So it's called the total market cap. So this basically puts everything together, all the cryptos, the good, the bad, the ugly, wrap it all into one. And this gives you the total market cap. This is the whole behemoth that is cryptocurrencies, all wrapped into one lovely, beautiful chart. And there is something interesting happening because it's one of two things. The market has reached an interesting area, which is it's at a nice structure level here where we had seen lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. We're sitting here right now. Sometimes the market doesn't like to break through this. Sometimes it likes to just continue forward. So look at this actually right here. You had highs, higher lows, higher highs. The market came right down where we had seen the previous highs, rejected here a bit, and then came crashing down. Same thing happened over here, right? Where you've seen previous levels of structure. So it's usually two things when things lead to reversals. Either you have institutional money, which I see up here, or you have key levels of structure, like macro levels of structure that are just basically, cement barriers, titanium barriers for price action, which is where we're at right now. So I think if we start seeing signs of distribution here, this might be when this finally starts to come back down. If not, cool. Then I think we get up to here. So for me, this is kind of a moment of truth type of situation. Will we get setups here? If the market does something like this, because you're right now, here's what you're saying. You're seeing equal highs. So you just saw a double top. Maybe you get something like this where it clears these highs. And then if we get a lower low and we can actually kind of hold the lower low down, specifically in the zone that we're in right now, then yeah, we could be coming down heavy. It's possible. Market analysis 24/7. Bro, y'all tripping. This is the best thing to do with my free time. Man, that means a lot. Will we see the NFT hype again? It's happening right now. NFT hype is actually happening right now. So yeah, it's going on right now. So I'm interested into seeing what happens. I do think we are at a very, very key level in the market. And this is the total market. This isn't Bitcoin, ETH, this is all of it. If you want to look at, because you can look at the market just through Bitcoin and ETH and all that, and that's fine. But the total market cap is showing that we might be at reversal signs. And if we look at the total two, now total two and total one, very different. Total is everything. Total two is everything except Bitcoin. And total two, total two low key has a whole bunch of imbalance left behind. And still structure and these key levels. So it kind of looks like Bitcoin might be gassing out a little bit, but these alts might want to run. Maybe. But it also shows that Bitcoin filled imbalance and everything else is still within kind of like this structure. Very interesting. And then if you take ETH out of the equation, which is total 3. Here's where you're at without ETH, even more bearish. So what's really cranking the market up more than anything, what's been more bullish is actually Bitcoin over everything else. And that's what these charts are. But guys, we'll wrap it up there. I think it's a good time. We can leave it here. Focus on what's going on with crypto overall. Keep a close eye on this. This is the height of conversation right now. You know, Bitcoin hit 42,000, 41 and 42,000. What's going to happen next, etc. We'll see. Appreciate you guys. The recording of this will be on my YouTube, so you guys can catch it there if you want to see it again, whether it's just practicing the markups or anything like that. But appreciate you guys for plugging in, and I'll get this up as soon as possible. But yeah, so stay tuned. Obviously, we have a lot of value for the rest of the week. Make sure you're plugged in with your people so they can keep, the calls and everything going your way. And if you found your way into this call and you want some more of this, then just reach out to me and we can see what we can do. But yeah, have a good night, fam. For those of you going to the Trader Summit, I'll see you in Colorado. Peace out, guys.